If you have ever tapped a button on your banking app, snapped a photo of a check, and watched the money show up in your account a few minutes later, you already know how easy mobile deposit feels. But here is something most retirees are never told. That same convenience is now one of the fastest growing ways scammers are draining life savings from people just like you. And most victims do not realize what happened until their bank account is already short thousands of dollars. Stick with me for the next few minutes because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how this scam works, the 3 warning signs your bank wishes every customer knew, and the 1 habit that can protect your money for good. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Retire's Guide, the channel where we help you protect what you have worked your whole life to build. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we bring you clear, honest information to help you stay safe, stay smart, and stay in control of your money as you enjoy retirement. Now let's talk about mobile deposit, because in 2026, this is one of the biggest things scammers are counting on you not to understand. Here is the truth. Mobile deposit itself is not dangerous. It was built to make life easier. No more driving to the branch, no more waiting in line, no more worrying about the mail losing a check. You simply open your banking app, take a picture of the front and back of a check, confirm the amount, and the money is on its way into your account. Millions of Americans use this feature every single day, and for most of them, it works exactly the way it is supposed to. The problem is not the technology. The problem is what criminals have figured out how to do with it. Federal investigators have been sounding the alarm louder than ever. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, adults 60 and older filed more than 200,000 fraud complaints last year alone, and the total reported losses for that age group crossed $7.7 billion. That is not a typo. Billion with a B. And here is the part that should really get your attention. That number jumped nearly 60% compared to the year before. Scammers are not slowing down. They are speeding up, and older Americans are their #1 target, because criminals know that many retirees have savings built up, own their homes, and are often more trusting when someone reaches out with a friendly voice or a professional-sounding message. Now, why mobile deposit specifically? Because it creates something scammers love, which is a delay between when money appears to be in your account and when the bank actually confirms the check is real. When you deposit a check through your phone, federal rules require your bank to make some of those funds available to you within a day or two. That sounds great, and it usually is. But making funds available is not the same thing as the check being verified. Behind the scenes, that check still has to travel through the banking system to be confirmed, and that can take days, sometimes over a week, especially if the check was written on an out-of-state or unfamiliar bank. Criminals are betting that you will see the money, believe it is real, and act on it before the truth catches up. And by the time it does, the money you sent out is already gone. Let me walk you through exactly how this plays out, because once you see the pattern, you will never fall for it. It almost always starts with a message you were not expecting. Maybe it is an email about a work-from-home job that pays surprisingly well. Maybe it is a message on Facebook or a dating app from someone new and friendly who seems genuinely interested in you. Maybe it is a call about a prize you supposedly won, or a buyer online who wants to purchase something you are selling. In every version of this scam, the story is different, but the outcome they are working toward is exactly the same. They want you to receive a check, deposit it using your mobile banking app, and then send part of that money back to them, usually through a wire transfer, a gift card purchase, or a payment app. Here's an example of how it typically unfolds. Let's call her Carol, a retired school teacher in her late 60s. Carol was contacted online by someone claiming to be an interior designer who wanted to buy several pieces of furniture she had listed for sale. The buyer said they would send a cashier's check for more than the asking price because a moving company needed to be paid too, and asked Carol to simply deposit the check and forward the extra amount to the movers using a gift card. The check looked completely legitimate. It had a bank logo, a signature, even a watermark. Carol deposited it through her phone, saw the funds appear in her account balance within a day, and felt confident enough to buy the gift cards and send the codes exactly as instructed. 9 days later, her bank contacted her. The check was fraudulent. Every dollar she had sent out was gone, and because the check bounced, her bank reversed the original deposit too, leaving her account short by more than $3,000. Carol did nothing careless. She simply trusted a process that looked convincing on the surface. And that is exactly why this scam works so well. This pattern shows up in several different disguises, so let's go through the most common versions so you can recognize them immediately, no matter which costume they are wearing. The first is the overpayment scam. This is what happened to Carol. Someone buying something from you, renting from you, or hiring you sends a check for more than what is owed and asks you to refund the difference. The moment someone asks you to deposit a check and then send money back, that is your signal to stop. The second is the mystery shopper or work-from-home job scam. You get hired for a job that seems easy and pays well. Your new employer mails or emails you a check and tells you to deposit it, keep a portion as your first payment, and use the rest to buy supplies, evaluate a retail store, or test a money transfer service. Real employers do not pay you before you have done any work, and legitimate jobs never require you to move money on their behalf using your own bank account. The third is the romance scam, and this one is especially painful because it targets the heart, not just the wallet. Someone you have been talking to online for weeks or months, who may have never even met you in person, suddenly has a financial emergency or wants to send you money to hold for them, or asks you to deposit a check they claim they cannot access themselves because they are traveling or overseas. If a romantic interest you have never met face-to-face asks you to handle money for them in any way, that relationship, however real it feels, has become a financial trap. The fourth is the prize or lottery scam. You are told you have won a sweepstakes, a lottery, or a cash prize, but before you can collect it, you need to pay a processing fee or a tax. To make it feel legitimate, they send you a check to cover that fee, ask you to deposit it, and then send a portion back to cover the cost. Real lotteries and legitimate sweepstakes never ask winners to pay anything up front, ever, under any circumstance. And the fifth, which is becoming more common as banking apps get more sophisticated, is what security experts call remote deposit account takeover. In this version, a scammer gets access to your account credentials, sometimes through a fake banking app or a spoofed login page that looks nearly identical to your real bank's website. They deposit a fraudulent check directly using your stolen login information, then quickly move money out before you or your bank notices anything wrong. This is exactly why protecting your banking password and never clicking login links sent through text or email is so important, a topic we will come back to in just a moment. Now, here is something you deserve to know, because it might be the most important sentence in this entire video. Under federal banking law, when a check you deposit turns out to be fraudulent, you are the one held responsible for the loss. Not the person who wrote the fake check, not the bank, you. Your bank is legally allowed to make funds available to you quickly, but that does not mean the check has actually cleared or been verified as real. If it later bounces, your bank will reverse that deposit and pull the money back out of your account, even if you already spent it or sent it somewhere else. This is not your bank being unfair. This is simply how banking law works, and scammers are counting on the fact that most people do not know this rule exists. So how do you protect yourself while still enjoying the convenience mobile deposit offers? Let's go through the habits that actually make a difference, the ones that fraud prevention specialists at banks and credit unions across the country are urging every customer to follow. First, treat any unexpected check as suspicious, no matter how official it looks. Modern printers and even artificial intelligence tools have made counterfeit checks shockingly convincing. A check can have a real-looking logo, a legitimate bank's name, an official watermark, and still be completely fake. The paper feeling right and the numbers lining up means nothing anymore. If you are not expecting the check, treat it as a red flag first and a legitimate payment second. Second, never send money back in response to a check you just deposited, for any reason, no matter how convincing the story is. This single rule on its own would stop almost every version of this scam cold. Legitimate transactions do not require you to receive money and immediately turn around and send part of it somewhere else. If anyone, whether it is a stranger, a new online friend, or someone claiming to represent a company, asks you to do this, stop immediately and do not send anything. Third, wait for full confirmation that a check is actually cleared before you spend or transfer any of the funds, even if your banking app shows the money as available. Available and cleared are two very different things. If you are not sure how to tell the difference, call your bank directly using the number on the back of your debit card or on your official statement, not a number given to you by the person who sent the check, and ask them to confirm the check has fully cleared before you do anything else with that money. Fourth, only download your banking app from the official App Store or Google Play Store, and never click a link in a text message or email claiming to take you to your bank's login page. Scammers have become skilled at creating fake apps and fake websites that look nearly identical to the real thing. If you ever get a message asking you to log in urgently, close it, open your banking app directly from your home screen the way you normally would, and check your account from there instead. Fifth, never deposit a check on behalf of someone else, even if they seem trustworthy or promise you a portion of the money as a thank you. This is one of the fastest growing versions of this scam because it plays on kindness. If a friend, a new acquaintance, or someone online asks you to deposit a check for them, the answer is always no, without exception. Sixth, review your account activity regularly, ideally every few days, not just once a month when your statement arrives. Open your banking app, look at your recent transactions, and make sure everything matches what you actually did. Catching something unusual within a day or two gives your bank a real chance to help you. Catching it 3 weeks later often means the money is already gone for good. And seventh, talk to someone you trust before acting on anything that involves money and urgency together. Scammers rely on speed. They want you to act before you have time to think it through or ask someone else's opinion. A legitimate financial opportunity will still be legitimate tomorrow, after you have had a chance to call your bank, a family member, or a trusted friend and talk it through. If someone is pressuring you to act immediately, that pressure itself is the warning sign. Let's go a little deeper on one thing I mentioned earlier, because it is the piece most people underestimate: the role artificial intelligence now plays in these scams. A few years ago, spotting a fake check was often as simple as checking for blurry printing, a crooked logo, or strange fonts. That is no longer reliable advice. Criminal groups now use AI-powered design tools to generate checks with crisp logos, accurate routing number formatting, and even realistic handwriting for the signature line. The same technology is being used to clone voices, which means the frantic phone call some retirees receive claiming to be a grandchild in trouble, asking them to deposit a check to help cover bail or medical bills, might sound exactly like a loved one's real voice, because the scammer used a short audio clip pulled from a social media video to recreate it. Investigators have specifically flagged this trend as one of the fastest-growing threats facing older adults today, precisely because it removes the old visual and audio clues people used to rely on. The lesson here is not to trust your eyes and ears less. It is to trust the process more. No matter how convincing a check, a voice, or a message looks or sounds, the safety habits we just went through, waiting for full clearance, never sending money back, verifying independently, still work, because they do not depend on spotting a fake. They depend on never acting until the transaction has been properly confirmed. Let's look at one more example, because seeing this play out a second time in a different setting really helps the pattern stick. Consider a retired veteran named Frank, living on a fixed income, who was contacted through what looked like a legitimate online job board about a part-time position doing quality assurance for a shipping company. The pay looked reasonable for a few hours of work each week, which appealed to Frank as a way to supplement his pension. His new employer explained that he would receive a check to purchase a laptop and specialized software needed for the role, and that he should keep a small amount as an advance on his first paycheck, then send the remainder to a vendor using a well-known payment app. The check cleared the mobile deposit screening within his banking app almost instantly, so Frank felt reassured and followed the instructions exactly as given. Roughly a week later, his bank flagged the deposit as fraudulent during their internal review process, reversed the funds, and Frank was left responsible for the full amount he had already sent to the so-called vendor. What makes Frank's story worth mentioning is that he did everything a careful, reasonable person would do. He researched the company name online. He read a few reviews that turned out to be fake as well, and he still lost money. That is exactly why relying on instinct and research alone is not enough anymore. The habits we covered earlier, especially never sending money back after a deposit and waiting for full clearance, are the only defenses that work regardless of how convincing the scam appears. It is also worth understanding a little about how banks and credit unions are fighting back, because this is genuinely encouraging news. Financial institutions across the country have been investing heavily in tools that use artificial intelligence to catch forged checks and unusual deposit patterns before funds are ever released, comparing new checks against known legitimate samples and flagging anything with subtle inconsistencies a human eye might miss. Federal investigators have also been running coordinated operations aimed at disrupting the criminal networks behind these scams, working directly with banks to freeze suspicious accounts before stolen funds can be moved overseas. None of this means the threat has gone away. It means the fight is ongoing on both sides, and that your own awareness remains the single most powerful tool available, because no automated system can stop a scam faster than a customer who recognizes the warning signs and simply refuses to send money back. One more habit worth building into your routine involves your family. Consider having an open, judgment-free conversation with your adult children or a trusted friend about mobile banking safety. Not because you need someone managing your money for you, but because a second set of eyes and a quick phone call before acting on anything unusual can make all the difference. Many families now use a simple rule. Before sending money anywhere in response to a check, a call, or an online message, they call each other first. No exceptions, no matter how urgent it feels. Scammers thrive on isolation and speed, and a 30-second phone call to someone you trust is often all it takes to break the spell they are trying to cast. I want to pause here and ask you something, because this really matters to me and to everyone else watching this video right now. Have you or someone you know ever received a check you were not expecting, whether it turned out to be real or not? I would genuinely like to know, so go ahead and leave a comment below and tell me what happened. Your story might be exactly what helps someone else in our community recognize this scam before it happens to them. Take a moment, scroll down, and share it. This channel exists because of people like you being willing to talk openly about these things, and I read every single comment. Let's talk for a moment about why this particular scam has exploded in popularity among criminals targeting older adults specifically. Investigators point to a few reasons. Retirees, as a group, tend to have more savings built up over a lifetime of work, which makes the potential payoff bigger for scammers. Many seniors also grew up in an era when checks and bank tellers were the normal way of doing things, so trust in official-looking paperwork runs deep, and scammers exploit that trust by making their fake checks look as official as possible. On top of that, criminals now have access to artificial intelligence tools that can generate near-perfect counterfeit checks, clone voices for phone scams, and even create fake customer service chat windows that look identical to your real bank's website. The tools available to scammers today are simply more advanced than they were even 2 or 3 years ago, and that means the old advice of just looking for spelling mistakes or a fake-looking logo is no longer good enough on its own. There is also something scammers understand about human nature that is worth mentioning gently and honestly. Retirement can sometimes come with more time alone, and loneliness is something scammers specifically look for and exploit, especially in romance scams. If you have ever felt a genuine connection with someone online who you have never met in person, please know that your feelings are valid and completely human, but that does not mean the situation is safe. Scammers are professionals at building trust quickly, and the moment money or checks enter the conversation, it is time to slow down, no matter how real the relationship feels. Now let's talk about what to do if you think you might have already deposited a fraudulent check, because acting quickly can make a real difference in how this plays out. The first step is to call your bank immediately, using the number on your card or statement, and explain exactly what happened. Do not wait, do not feel embarrassed, and do not try to handle it quietly on your own first. Banks deal with this every single day, and the sooner they know, the more options they have to help you. The second step is to file a report with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov, which is spelled ic3.gov. This report matters even if you never get your money back, because it helps investigators track patterns and shut down these criminal networks before they hurt someone else. The third step is to change your online banking password immediately, especially if you clicked any links or entered login information anywhere related to this incident. And the fourth step, which people often forget, is to tell someone in your life what happened. A family member, a friend, anyone. Scammers rely on shame and secrecy to keep victims from reporting what happened, and speaking up removes their power completely. I also want to say this clearly because it matters. If this happens to you, it is not because you are foolish, and it is not because you were not careful enough. These scams are specifically engineered by professional criminal organizations, often operating internationally, using increasingly sophisticated tools designed to fool anyone, at any age, at any income level. Falling for a well-designed scam says nothing about your intelligence. It says everything about how advanced these criminal operations have become. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Retirement is supposed to be a season of your life where you finally get to slow down, enjoy the people you love, and feel secure in what you have built over decades of hard work. Scammers know this, and they specifically design these schemes to feel urgent, personal, and emotionally compelling because they are counting on catching you off guard during a moment that should otherwise feel peaceful. The good news is that awareness genuinely changes outcomes. Every single fraud prevention specialist, every bank security officer, every federal investigator working these cases will tell you the exact same thing. The people who avoid these scams are not the ones with the most technical knowledge. They are the ones who simply know to pause, verify, and never send money back in response to a check. You now know that. And knowing it puts you ahead of the vast majority of people these criminals are hoping to catch off guard today. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the warning signs so they are fresh in your mind. Be suspicious of any check you are not expecting. Never send money back after depositing a check for any reason. Wait for a check to fully clear before spending or transferring the funds, even if your app shows the money as available. Only use your bank's official app, downloaded directly from the App Store or Google Play. Never deposit a check on someone else's behalf. Check your account activity regularly instead of waiting for your monthly statement. And always pause and talk to someone you trust before acting on anything involving money and urgency together. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this one sentence. If receiving a check ever comes attached to a request to send money back, stop immediately, because that is the scam, every single time. If this video gave you something valuable today, do me a favor and share it with someone in your life who uses mobile banking, whether that is a friend, a neighbor, a sibling, or your own adult children who might not realize their parents could be targeted by something like this. Sharing this video costs you nothing, but it might save someone you love thousands of dollars and a whole lot of heartache. Just tap that share button right now before you move on to the next video, because a 30-second share could genuinely protect someone's retirement savings. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time, because every week here on Retire's Guide, we bring you honest, practical information just like this, designed specifically to help you protect your money, your identity, and your peace of mind through every stage of retirement. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and drop a comment letting me know what topic you would like us to cover next. Should we talk about phone scams pretending to be your grandchildren, phishing emails pretending to be Medicare, or how to spot a fake tech support call? Tell me in the comments below, because this channel is built around what you actually want to know. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Stay alert, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe out there. I will see you in the next video.